Hi everybody, welcome to the how-to of Unlimited Bingo. I'm just going to show you how to use the Excel file efficiently and quickly, and kind of what all the buttons do and how to troubleshoot a little bit. So before you actually open the file, please just make sure that you've got no other Excel files open. It may cause this one to behave a bit naughtily. So if you have got other ones open, please close everything and then open up this one again, and that should be absolutely fine. You'll also get a pop-up at the start reminding you to do that as well. So once you've opened the file up, the most important thing to do is to make sure you enable the macros. This means that all the buttons actually work. If you don't do this, you won't be able to click on anything. So you can either do that by clicking on this button here with the yellow bar, or if you go to File, you'll see here there's a security warning section, and you can enable the content, and you can make it a trusted document, which means that you don't have to go through all this rubbish again, thankfully. And here we see the pop-up. So this file may not work properly with other Excel files open. Do you have any other Excel files open? I do not. So I can click no, and it will disappear. However, if you click yes, it will give you an alert and just say, please close everything, and then open everything up again, and this should work fine. So, the value of a digit bingo. Everything on this file will work for the same for everything on the other bingo files. The only difference is there's going to be different questions and different answers. So probably the most important one to start with, we've got a full screen, and it shows us full screen mode. Happy times. This is really good for if you want to display it on an interactive whiteboard or on a projector or something like that, and you're going to show it on a big screen. It gets rid of kind of all the busyness at the top, which you'll find if you have distracted students like I have in the past. They love looking at everything else except what they're supposed to be looking at, so this might kind of limit that a little bit. You can also close the full screen if you want to. If you want to close full screen also, you can press F11 and that should do the same job. But I'm going to leave it up for now just so that you can see a little bit easier. So first things first, we've got the new game button. Now as you may think, or may have guessed already, new game does actually give you a new game. It gives you 40 new questions and 40 new answers. Now what you're seeing here are all the answers to the questions. So my preferred way of playing bingo with my students is to give them a mini whiteboard and a whiteboard pen, get them to do a 4x4 grid, and they can just do that by doing 3 lines down and 3 lines across, and that gives them 16 spaces, and then they pick 16 random numbers from the grid here. Just let them know this one is not the first one and the bottom right one is not the last one. These are all totally in random orders. As you see, they're all totally random numbers as well. So from any one go to the next, they might be completely different. This one might be the 25th one, for example, on this game, and then this one might be the second one on this game. So once they've filled them all out, you can let them know in this particular one there are some repeated numbers. So I can't see any, like these two. If they want to, they could put both 600,000s in, or in fact they could put 3 600,000s in, but they may only cross off once per question. So they can't cross off all 3 if the answer to one of the questions is 600,000. They may only cross one off at a time. Otherwise that's cheating. So once they've got that in there, then we can start the game. So you click on start game, and that should show you the first question. So this one, for example, if they have this answer, which is going to be 9 million, they get to cross that one off. Obviously once they've crossed off all 16, and they get bingo. So just cycle through. You can go forwards and backwards with these questions. As I said, there are 40 in total. Let's say we've got to this one and someone says bingo, and I'm a bit suspicious and just want to make sure they've got all the correct things. You can check on the answers here. So we can scroll through and have a look at the answers, and you'll see if you go through them, they are in actual fact in the order that they came up in. So 500,000 would be the answer we're currently on, so that's probably somewhere down here. So we've had all of these answers so far. It would be a pretty fortunate person to have picked up that in the first kind of 15-20 questions in actual fact, but it could happen. So you can check off and just make sure they've got, if they say they've got 600,000, you can be like, yep. If they've got 800,000, well no, actually that's not in this list, so that's incorrect, so they're going to have to go back and rub out that one they've crossed off. And we can also hide the answers as well, and we can carry on. Obviously we can then go back and have a new game if we want to, and it will read all the numbers and read all the questions as well. So that's one way of doing it. An alternative way, if again like me you've had students that get distracted easily and you want to give them everything so they don't have to do any work and they don't have to sit there and think for 20 minutes about what numbers they're going to use, you can print off the bingo cards. So there's a few instructions up here about how to print it off, but there are 32 cards in total on 8 pages with some nice little borders around and some cutting outlines, just to make it really easy for your students. I'm just going to exit full screen for a minute. So we can print these off by literally going to File and Print. Now you'll see at the bottom here it's got 1 to 8, so if we cycle through it will show you all 8 pages, and hopefully say they should all print off as that. You can scale it if you want to, so you can fit to one page, but I think it's actually pretty much already there. You may not want to print off all 8 pages. If that is the case and you've only got, let's say, 15 students in your class, you may only want to print off 4 pages, so that's 16. So we will put in here pages 1 to pages 4, and that will only print off 4 pages. Again, you could put in pages 5 to 8 if you want to, that will also only print off 4 pages. So just kind of make a judgment on how many pages you need and then work out which pages you're going to use. Obviously if you print off page 9, that is not actually going to work because there's not a page 9. So once you give these to students, the process is pretty much the same. We go back to the bingo and then we start the game. It's very, very important, if this is the set you've printed off, that you do not go and press new game, because as you'll see, oh dear, all the numbers have changed. So this is linked to the bingo and it automatically updates all the numbers. So if you've printed off the previous one, it's kind of redundant because now all the questions have updated and the answers won't be the same, so your students won't actually be able to do bingo because they won't have the answers. So please make sure when you've printed them off you use the same one that's already on there and you do not click new game, and ideally don't save and exit Excel because it may calculate when it closes when you save it, and that might mean it's updated all these numbers, and again it may update all the bingo cards, which would be a bit of a bummer because that would be a lot of wasted paper. So that is pretty much everything. As I said, new game updates everything, start game gets you started, cycle through next, cycle through previous, full screen, close full screen, and then we can check the answers. Woo! Right, any questions, please feel free obviously to email me at pickupandgoresources@gmail.com, or you can catch me on TPT if this is where you've purchased the product, or you can get me on Twitter and my handle is @Miss E Honey. Thanks very much, hope you all have a lovely day.